Doormen, what's good? It's your boy Chief back in the building. Welcome back to the Doormen Podcast. Let's see what's going on in the world of security. So it's been a little minute since I've been on. It is tour season, as I explained to you guys a few videos ago. A lot going on, a very busy time, but we must make time for the podcast and to break down some of these interesting things that are going on in the world of security. A lot of you guys have been sending me videos and I definitely appreciate it. And as soon as I can get a lot of these on here, we will definitely go through them and break them down. Today, I got 2 videos. Let's jump into it and we'll get some commentary as we go. Let's see what we got.
So I'm going to ask you one last time. Are you refusing to leave the property or identify your residency?
I'm about to go to the store.
Okay, so go. Get moving. If I see you back on property, you'll be detained. Because you do not live on property. You refuse to identify. And you're refusing to leave.
Who are you, dude?
Property security. It's what we're here for.
You haven't identified yourself.
I'm property security. I'm with Front Range Patrol.
Yeah, I don't know
33.
What's your name?
I don't have to give you my name. I'm not a police officer. You don't pay my paycheck. My taxes don't do nothing about me. But your taxes have nothing to do with me.
I don't have to give you my name, dude.
Okay, so I'm asking you to step out of the vehicle now, man. I'm not going to do this with you tonight.
You're going to open my vehicle?
Absolutely. You're on private property. You're refusing to identify, and you're refusing to leave private property. Okay, what unit?
I live here.
What unit?
I live here.
So I can advise property management.
Who are you, dude?
Who on their property is acting like an absolute child. Making threats.
Making threats?
Yeah, you told me, do you really want to do this right now? When I simply asked you to turn the music down and stop smoking in the parking garage.
I turned it down.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a threat.
I turned it down.
And I also advised you that you need to identify yourself.
And you open my door.
Or at the very, because you're on private property.
No, I live here.
I don't care.
I live here, dude.
I don't care. You have refused on several occasions.
Dude.
You've been asked several times what unit you live in.
I'm about to go to the store.
Well, it's too late for that now.
No, it's not.
Now we're waiting for my partner.
No, it's not, dude.
Yeah, we are.
You open my door, man.
Interesting. Okay. So this video was sent to me. This is a situation where obviously they're probably at an apartment complex of some kind or something along those lines, condo, something like that. I think he said Front Range Security or whatever the case is. This guy works for a security company. And this is something along the lines of what we talked about a few videos ago when we talked about what security is allowed to do on property and things that they are not allowed to do. And we dissected that when we talked about the guys who threw the guy out of the Apple store and physically forcibly removed him. And there were a lot of people in the comments who were misinformed and saying security doesn't have the right to put their hands on you. Security doesn't have the right to touch you ever. They can't even really kick you out of a place. That's just not the case. So in this video, from what I see, this guy, he doesn't do anything wrong. I think that we don't see what led up to this. He mentions that the guy was on property smoking and playing loud music, and he told the guy to turn the music down, move on if you do not live here. And the guy didn't want to do that. And so this is the interaction that occurred from that. Now, opening up the car door, wouldn't recommend that personally. I think that could get you into trouble, and anything where you're seen as the aggressor of a situation and provoking a situation further than it kind of needs to be. As I explained before, when you're on private property, security has much more jurisdiction to do a lot of different things. They make the rules on private property, obviously coming down from ownership and management to security to be the enforcement of those rules. But it doesn't look like this guy did anything wrong, and he's well within his rights and within his job description to kick this guy off of property. Remember, security can tell you to leave. They can trespass you. Citizen's arrest, if you were caught committing a felony, they can use violence if to stop a forcible felony against themselves or others. And this guy, like it or not, you may not like the guy's attitude, he may come across wrong, but at the end of the day, if you lived in a neighborhood, a condo or a structure where you wanted to keep it safe and you wanted to keep people from bringing down the property value, smoking where they're not supposed to be smoking, playing loud music, having large gatherings, there has to be somebody who stands in the gap between chaos and order and structure. And it's not a pretty job, but this guy is doing the job. And I guarantee you the people that live on this property are glad that he's there and doing this job. So I would say, kudos to this guy. He did what he did. He didn't do too much. He pulled the taser unnecessary. But again, what is he looking at? Is the guy appearing aggressive? Has he done something before this video came on? I don't know. It's tough to say. And I hate to judge people, and say what I would do because I can't see what he's seeing in the moment. But I do know that there are people who just don't care about the rules, people who do whatever they want to do, people who are disrespectful. And if this guy told him to leave the property, you got to leave the property, especially if you do not live there. And if you're refusing to prove that you live here, then there's no reason for you to be here. So, yeah, good job by that guy. That's about all I can say on that one. This next one is interesting. We'll look at this one and give a little commentary.
I'm going to go through a general area, all right? Off the phone! Off your phone! But you guys stay tight together, okay?
How scary is our security guy? He's so scary. How scary is this person?
Okay, so here you've got a guy. He doesn't look like he's doing personal security. He looks like just a normal security guard who works for wherever they are. It looks like Vegas to me, but it may not be. I can't get a good look at it. But this is a guy, I believe his name is DIPLO, who posted this. Let me double check this before I say that. Yeah, I think this guy's name is DIPLO. I don't know what he does or whatever, but he's at this venue. He may be doing an appearance, maybe performing, we don't know, but he's here and this guy is responsible for his security. Probably met him at the front. He's venue security and he's taking him to wherever he needs to go to conduct business or whatever the case is. Now, there's many things wrong with the way this guy's conducting himself. I think that he appears to be a certain type of personality type. He reminds me of a lot of guys who are ex-military, a little bit too militant, not a lot of soft skills and general awareness of the way that you come across. And if I had this gentleman on a personal detail and he was doing private security for me, or I had a client who I needed to outsource security for, and I put this guy with that client, I would be extremely worried. I would be very, very worried because this guy, his personality is not right to be doing personal security and good for interfacing with clients, especially. He's too intense and a little overzealous. And when a guy has a lack of awareness for the way that he comes across, it just leads to bad things. Even in this very short, small interaction, the client made several comments about the guard. And as a guard, you want to be low key. You do not want to be drawing attention. You don't want to be someone who's making the person you're working for uncomfortable, where he has to worry about what you might do because you're acting a little bit unpredictable. These are things that shouldn't be on the client's mind. But even in this short interaction, he mentioned it like 3 to 4 times. Like, this is the talk of this walk, is the conduct of this guard. Let's watch this real quick again, and I want you to see something. The super intense walk, slams onto the whatever this is, the freezer or the locker, off the phones. And I get you have a job to do, and maybe this is last minute. You didn't get a chance to walk ahead and let people know, hey, we'll be coming through in a minute. Do me a favor, put your phones down, don't take pictures, things of that nature. That is something you have to let people know. But the aggressive nature in which you do things oftentimes will rub event security and venue staff the wrong way. That is never a good thing. You don't want to be annoying people and rubbing people the wrong way and creating a rift when it comes to that client, because now they don't treat him the same. They have a negative response to them, negative thoughts about that person, and it may have nothing to do with them. It's all a result of the conduct of the security and the way that he decided to handle himself. in this situation. So you've got to operate with a little more discretion, a little more calm, chill, handle things better than this. You don't want to be overly aggressive.
Off your phones. But you guys stay tight together, okay?
How scary is that security guy? He's so scary. Scary is this.
Again, he's mentioning several times how scary the security guy is, how intense he is. That is the whole talk, which means as a security professional, you are drawing too much attention. This is not good. Let's watch a little more.
This person.
I mean, this is complete nonsense. This is where it looks like a parody. This is when I questioned, is this even real? Because for him to be walking like this, it's uncalled. I mean, what is the purpose of this? This is what I mean when I talk about you're drawing unnecessary attention and the wrong kind of attention. This, make no mistake, embarrasses the client. It embarrasses the client. At this point, I'm sure he would much rather not have security than to have someone there overdoing it and embarrassing him and drawing him negative attention. Not only are you being overly aggressive, slamming on stuff, yelling at people, but you're also walking like a fool with your arms out and pushing people out of the way. Completely unnecessary. This is a guy who doesn't understand the job. And he's obviously not a bodyguard, but you got to be careful who you put in a position to do something. Whoever told this guy, like, hey, you're going to be the guy to receive and walk them through, and that was a mistake on their part. That wasn't the right call. Was that it? Wait a minute. I know that wasn't him that blew that whistle. Okay, he doesn't have a whistle. I thought he blew a whistle. I was about to say, this might be the worst. But look at everybody's face. Like, what? Yeah, and this is the face of a client here who is embarrassed. He's embarrassed. This face, a little smirk. He's wishing he could be somewhere else, and he's wishing that this guard was not with him. That's shell-shocked. That's what this face, oof, that's shell-shocked. Oh, Lord. Good videos. I appreciate you guys sending those in. He needs to be in the don't be that guy category. Y'all remember don't be that guy? He's definitely in that category. Soft skills pay the bills when it comes to private security. You could be the most militaristic, protecting guy, but if your personality is not good and you are annoying and an unlikable individual in life, then private security isn't for you. It takes too much awareness, too much subtlety, too much nuance. And this is not the job for a hammer. You've got to be a multi-tool. You got to be able to put on different hats and know how to move and flow when you need to move and flow. So interesting videos today. Yeah, so do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. I appreciate you watching the video, checking us out. Do me a favor, if you guys see content that is revolving around security, content that's revolving around protection, safety, anything along those lines, send it to my IG at Chief Gavin Mont, and we'll get it right here on the show and break it down. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I'm Chief. This has been Doormen. I'll catch you on the next one.